What's going on, everybody? Fire and Ryan here. We finally did it. We finally got Anton on. Now the only issue is my co-host is late. I guess he's late. I don't know if he had to work until like 2 or 3 or something like that. So I don't know when he actually can get here. But we finally have Anton on. He's actually got a shirt on for once. I know everybody was talking and loved the what do you call it, the graphic that I made, and everybody doesn't quite understand how hard it is to find a picture of Anton with a shirt on to be able to do that with. So that took a lot of work, but we have Mr. Anton Del Rosario on. I guess founder of Far East United, former Philippine national team player, founder of 7v7, and I think that's in the Philippines, right?
Yes, it is. And
Okay.
not just in the
So,
Philippines, but expanding across Asia, so.
okay. Now, are you in the Philippines now, or are you in the U.S., or do you just bounce between each other?
I bounce between each other, so I spend half my time in the Philippines, or Asia, I should say, now, and then half my time in LA.
Okay. Now, I do have one question for you because during the research and everything, it popped up. Now, is your wife really like royalty, or is she more of like a political head's daughter? How does that work? Because I saw that and I was like, holy crap, this dude married like a princess or something. But I couldn't confirm or deny if she was actually royalty or if she was more along the lines of like a president or vice president's daughter. How does that work?
No, well,
And then
she's
hold on, the follow up question would be, where do I go to find the same level of woman? Because that obviously ain't going to find that in South Carolina. But
well, it's funny. No, I mean, well, she's Filipino, half Bruneian, and she is related to the family over there. So,
okay,
yes, I would say, I guess she is a princess, but she's not that type of princess.
okay. Now, see, you could have taken that and been like, she is a princess, but she's my queen. See, you could have went down there. See, you didn't go that route. You missed the opportunity. Oh, did we lose him?
Sorry, you're getting a little choppy, bro. Right?
Okay, I think. Let's see. Make sure my internet. Yeah, my internet's doing good. Did you hear what I said? Oh, let's see. Hold on.
Nope. Can you repeat
Hey, we
that,
got
please?
Elliot there.
Hey, sorry.
Yeah. Hold on. Shut up, Elliot. But no, Anton, you had the chance to say no, she's not a princess, she's my queen or something along those lines, but you dropped the ball. You dropped the ball. Terrible. You dropped the ball. But everybody, let's welcome Elliot in. It's the first time Elliot's been on the show. So Elliot, this is Anton down here. Anton, this is Elliot over
Nice to meet
this
you.
way. However you point on this thing, but he's over that way. So, but I think Anton has a little. Your phone sucks, man. Your internet's terrible.
Is it my internet or is it yours?
Mine's fine.
Mine's fine too.
Yeah, see, Anton, it's your internet. We could go
Let me go like
inside and get on Wi-Fi.
100 meters away. Maybe it'll give me.
All right, well we'll pop
Better?
you out. It's getting a little bit better. Still broken up a little bit. Let's see. While Anton's getting ready, I saw Ansar just drop this. Um, I don't know what he would talk about with how is it in Germany. I don't know how it is actually in Munich at the present moment, but I mean it's Harry Kane coming to Bayern Munich. Um, yes, Ansar, it's a big fucking deal. Um, and Danielle, yeah, I think we broke his Wi-Fi. It may have been my face that broke his Wi-Fi. I don't know. My face tends to break technology. But yeah. While we wait for him to get his internet back on, we'll introduce Elliot. Elliot, does you do Italian league and the Bundesliga, right?
Yeah, I started in the Italian league. That was kind of what I was focusing on for a while. But since like Bundesliga has always been my favorite league, and I wanted to cover it, so since 2020, I've kind of stepped up my content in terms of Germany. I also do other stuff, but I'm mainly Italian league and German league, but more German league than Italian league, at least the last 2 years.
So you're mainly shitty league and the Bundesliga.
Yeah, sure.
What you say?
I
Well, I
guess.
mean, I'm not going to say the Italian league's any fucking good because we saw. Yes, they made a bunch of
Yeah,
finals. How many did they win?
true, but it depends on what you're criterion as a good league.
I mean,
Because
you could play in a final,
yeah,
but if you lose,
true.
it don't matter. So
Italian
let's
teams
see
just
it.
don't have the best of the top teams. I think that's the problem. But yeah. Anyway, I'm a Roma fan, so that's
All
main
right,
thing.
I think we
Yeah.
got
All right.
Anton
Cool.
on some good internet because I think Elliot was about to lose it with the Italian uh my anti-Italian side.
That's all right.
Hey,
All the
I
Italian
I'm
fans get mad at me
I'm
because I
German,
go
so
ahead.
we hate Italy all the way around, completely.
Oh,
National team, league,
na-
I don't care what it is.
national team, national team, not with it. They let Vincenzo Greifel rot and not get picked ever. So ever since that kind of happened, I'm like, I'm done with you guys, anyways.
And you know, and see, we can segue that into Anton perfectly. How many uh, Italian World Cup games have been won in the last 8 years?
How many Italian World Cup
Go ahead
games
and tell
last?
him, Elliot.
Zero,
How many?
zero.
You have to make one to play in one. So, but on the flip side, Anton, how many wins does the Philippines have?
Well, we got one from the women's, you know.
Boom! Fuck you,
There you
Elliot.
Bang!
go.
Italy sucks.
There you go.
But yeah, so I mean, now with Elliot, I don't know if you follow Anton on Instagram and
No,
stuff.
since you invited me, I was gassed because I'm talking to a former professional footballer. So it was like my culmination
Former,
to this.
he
Oh, you
still
still play?
plays. He
Okay,
plays for
a
Far
action.
East United.
I got you. So a professional football.
Okay,
I've
he
never
kind of played
conversed
for
with
Far East
a.
United.
Okay, well, I've never conversed with a professional before, so it's a very exciting moment for. But I was just I don't know reading his Wikipedia just so I'm not completely clueless and things like that.
Okay, so you basically Googled Anton, right?
Yeah.
Now do an image search and tell me how many times you see him with a shirt on.
I love it.
Now the only reason I bring that up, Anton, is because you are one of the few people that can walk around without a shirt on, and I'm like, yeah, I hate
I
that
see what
guy
you
and
mean.
everything about him because he's like a model slash footballer slash like superstar and all that. And then you have me with one eyeball. I used to have abs, but then I got old. So yeah, it's like I went to TST and then started talking to the guys from Far East, and then all of them took their shirt off, and I'm like, yeah, I hate every one of y'all.
Yeah.
And see,
Uh,
and the reason why I say Anton sort of played for Far East is because he's like me. He's old. We can only play for like 20 minutes, and then we need a breather.
Yeah.
Even though
fantastic.
Anton's squad, I can 100% say the Far East squad handled that North Carolina Heat better than most of those teams. It like Jonah Romero looked like he was in the middle of his element, and I think it was Jason Cunliffe from Guam. Like the guys from Guam looked like they were in their damn element with the heat and humidity and everything else. And then you had the guy, you know what I'm saying, like the guys from the Philippines, like yourself, and other areas that are I've been to in the military that are, oh my God, Philippines, Guam. I thought South Carolina was bad. we don't have 100-degree humidity, 1,000,000% humidity like in the Philippines and Guam. That is a different level of heat. So I don't understand how y'all play in that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's you get used to it after a while, you know. It's like the opposite for us when playing in the cold. No chance, you know. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah, I'd much rather play in like Singapore, Philippines, Vietnam, Guam, those types of climates way before like say Norway or fucking Sweden. Yeah, me and ice, nah, hell no.
I went
Nah.
to
no,
the I went to I went to the second coldest game in football history last year,
Where?
Minnesota. It was the U.S. against I forgot who it was, Guatemala, and it was like in February.
So yeah, that's a typical US men's national team game. Let's put the away team in the worst absolute nightmarish
It
conditions
was
that a
like 5 degrees,
Guatemalan has never seen.
5 degrees with like a 15-mile-per-hour winds. It was horrible, but kind of cool at the same time.
I mean, it would be like I think Jason Cunliffe and when we had him and Jonah on when they're playing in their World Cup qualifier, they have to the what is it, home and away thing,
Yeah,
yeah,
and they're like, yeah, whatever team we play, we can't wait to pull them into the Guam weather and stuff. They're not going to be ready for it. I was like, dude, you're going to kill them.
yeah,
They're probably going to have like 4 people that are used to that. That is a different level to walk in, let alone play in.
yeah.
So,
Same.
but I mean, so how was it like, say, because Jonah tried to explain like playing as a professional footballer in the Philippines.
Yeah,
He tried to explain it like when he showed up to the Philippines. I guess was he on the team with you, or you helped him get to the Philippines?
yeah. So got him out there. We ended up playing on the same team for a couple years. And then the guy ended up staying out there and playing for about I think 4 years total.
Okay.
And he ended up moving around. When you start talking about cold, shit, you guys haven't been to Mongolia, man. You go to
Oh
Mongolia, and
no, no.
that that was different. You walk outside the hotel, that wind hits you, you got frost on your back. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Had to
that's
stay
like
out there.
playing in like Serbia or yeah, Serbian teams or like the Eastern Russian teams and stuff like that. It
Crazy.
can be bad. But
Yeah,
yeah, he had said that when he went with let's see, did we lose him again? Anton, are you there? We can't hear you.
oh,
Are you there? Elliot, can you hear him?
yeah. I can't hear him either.
Okay. We finally got it running and now his headphones went out. Hold on, run the I guess the little thing down in the thing to test the microphone, and then give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Okay, let's see.
is it working?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we
But
go.
no, Jonah had said something about like when he went to the Philippines with you, it was I guess he wasn't prepared to see. I guess it was like you on a billboard or you on like the side of a building or some crap. He's like, oh my God, look at this. He was like, I wasn't expecting to show up and see players like on these gigantic billboards, and he's like, and to see Anton on the side of a building, that was crazy.
Yeah, those were the crazy days, you know. Nobody really gave too much about soccer back.
Yes, Danielle, this is yeah, we may have to do the drinking game every time your Wi-Fi goes out, Anton. If it wasn't Anton, I'd love it. But I like Anton and I want to hear more about him. So it's
Yeah.
killing me. It's killing me. We'll let him give us some
Okay.
thumbs up when he comes back. Ah man, yeah. This is the first, but I think he's in the Philippines. So
That's fair.
with him being in the Philippines, I think he may be trying to use like his cell phone data, and
Yeah.
I think that that may be the issue. Um, but
Yeah, I know what you
because
mean.
if he's in LA, it shouldn't be that bad. But I guess we'll go back to while we wait for him to show back up.
Yeah.
Basically, the arrival of Harry Kane to Bayern Munich. He landed this morning. There was such a back and forth nightmare scenario of
Mhm.
the last minute he was on the way to the airport, and Daniel Levy and Spurs wanted to renegotiate everything. They
Of
wanted
course.
terms done for this, and it's like, dude, he's on the tarmac. He's getting on the plane, and then you call and like, hey, don't get on the plane until we finalize these other minute, small details
Yeah.
that we should have fixed yesterday.
Right.
So with all of that, I I don't know how anyone can take Spurs seriously after that.
I don't think
Um,
anyone really ever did take them seriously.
well, I mean, the thing is they got what they wanted as far as money.
Yeah.
Um, so the thing is the money was right. The let me see if he's messaged me. He may message me and be like, I can't do it. Let's see. Somebody's yelling Audi Cup 2019.
Didn't they win another preseason trophy too?
They
Recently.
won like the Tiger Cup or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Just it's the glorified version of like the FC series or
Yeah.
the International Champions Cup or whatever dumb crap the US wants to call their dumbass tournament this week.
Yeah.
Basically they won is it the Singapore? Were they in the Philippines or
They're somewhere around there. I don't know exactly where.
because each country has their own thing. Bayern won one. I think ours was in the Philippines. They may have won the one in Singapore,
Yeah.
or the opposite way around.
Right.
But it's whatever that gathering of teams was.
Hmm.
Um, but that's the same thing as like when they come to the U.S. and they play like I think Chelsea won the U.S. What is it, the Premier League Showdown, whatever the hell that
Yeah.
crap is, with like Newcastle and Brighton and all, and it's like, okay, who truly gives a shit?
I don't. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, it's like the Audi Cup, really? Come on, man. The Audi Cup didn't even have four teams play full games.
right.
So I mean, they had four teams that played. I think it was like 20-minute halves or 30-minute halves or something like that.
Hmm.
And it was like, these aren't even real games. Why are y'all giving a trophy for this crap?
Right. That makes
I
sense.
don't know.
No,
But
plus you can win a preseason trophy and still have a terrible season, so I don't think it really means anything, really.
and I mean, it goes with the same thing as like say the Super Cup game. Like I saw a
Yeah.
bunch of people online that were like, "Oh man, we need this guy for Super Cup." And yeah, Super Cup's still a preseason tournament. All right, so we got Anton back again.
Ah, cool.
Shit. Okay. Crazy. You know, my phone overheated. Now we
See,
now I'm sure now
that's
we're
a
all good.
South plan. See that I thought that only happens in South, like the southeastern U.S. That's why I do all of this on a tablet now, because I used to try to do it on this thing, and yeah, it would burn your hand with all the heat.
Smart. See? Yeah,
So,
I'm stuck on the road. Me and the wife celebrating our second year anniversary, so
oh
took her
Lord,
out here to the middle of the desert. You know? Yep.
that sounds like the starting of a murder mystery on Netflix.
They got
It's
some
our
good wine
second
in
an-
front of
it's
me,
our
you know.
second anniversary. I thought I'd take her out to the desert. Can't. 2 weeks later, everybody's like, "Well, there's Anton. Where's his wife?" Great.
All
Well,
right, sorry about
we
that,
already know
guys.
she's royalty, so you ain't crossing that line because you're gonna have a whole country coming at your ass. We know that ain't gonna happen. And Danielle said happy anniversary, even though she was picking on you earlier. She said we were gonna
Thank
do a
you very
drink. We were gonna do a drinking game every time your Wi-Fi went out.
much.
But if we
Sorry
actually
about
did that, we'd be fucking sloshed in
I
20
don't even
minutes.
drink, so
that.
Okay, so Elliot would be the guy that watches me pass out because Anton actually ain't gonna drink.
yeah.
But so now Anton, you founded the 7v7. Um, Now, did you get that idea from TST, or were you already planning that ahead of time, um, and getting that started and up and running prior to that? Because I couldn't find a lot on the 7v7 that you started in the Philippines.
All right. So, getting into that, I took a little retirement, about 8 months back in 2017, 2018. And then I started seven-a-side soccer leagues, right? So I started
Okay,
one in, in, I would say, the main city in Manila, with 8 teams. And then pre-pandemic, we expanded into 6 cities with over 200 teams, and now we're in 12 cities with over 500 teams across the country. You know,
okay.
yeah,
Now, the way that your 7-on-7 plays, it's completely different than like say the TST rules with the target goals and all that shit. You just play 7-on-7 like normal people know it. God, did we lose him again?
yeah, totally
Okay.
different.
Whew.
Totally different. You know, it was interesting because in 2018 I was able to get my semifinals and finals on ESPN. Once
Wow.
that happened, I was hit up by organizations out in South America and in Europe saying, "Hey, come affiliate yourself with us. FIFA only owns 11-a-side soccer, futsal, and beach soccer. This means that anybody could come in and create the sport of seven-a-side soccer." So I affiliated ourselves with a group called the GAF7 down in South America for about a year. We couldn't make it out to South America, so I didn't really see much added value back. So I said, you guys focus on your areas. I'll start creating the AFC of seven-a-side soccer. So my guys who we flew out to the Far East United, to the
Hmm.
TST, all of those guys from the other countries, those are my partners in each of the countries. So,
Okay.
so then we're looking at very much almost like, for every country, we're trying to, well, I really want to partner with national team or ex-national team players, you know?
So basically, what you're saying is when I put in my application to play for Far East United, you're basically saying that it's going to get told no. Then is what you're saying.
I mean, you got some added value to yourself, and I like your attitude, and I think all the guys would like you around. So I think you fit right
I
in, man.
mean, granted, I haven't played since my car wreck in 2017 and can barely walk, but I can be the guy on the end of the bench that has the Gatorade ready.
I can give you strong. I can give you 10
Every
strong
team
minutes.
needs one of those.
Hey, and you already know I'm good at making content, so I could do
You
that
can be my
definitely.
inner.
Oh no, we lost him again.
This,
Are you there?
Jeez.
We definitely need to invest in the Wi-Fi for him.
Yeah.
We got to get you a Wi-Fi, Anton, like a portable Wi-Fi.
that's funny, yeah. The fucking internet. Sorry, guys. Hello.
Okay. Well, at least we're getting good reactions in between the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi going out.
Oh man, sorry about this, guys.
Oh, you're good.
Um, Normally I'm in a good setting, but then, like I said, I mean, out here, don't worry. I got permission from my wife to be able to do this, so um,
Tell me she's
you're
not
okay, bro.
okay. She better not be sitting beside you.
No, she is not beside
Oh,
me.
okay. I was gonna be like, dude, did you really just pull the car over on the highway? And she's like literally sitting there, like, come on, bro, let's go.
Oh man. No, but
But you, but if you need a content man for Far East next TST, I got you.
oh, I love that.
I just can't do anything with Jonah because Jonah wants to take up all the minutes.
Yeah, that guy'll talk forever. You know.
Yes, he will. The
No,
first the first live that we did with him was on a different channel, and it was
Oh, really?
3 hour live video just going from Jonah being a kid until like the present. 3 hours.
wow,
Wow.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I know way more about Jonah than I ever wanted to know.
Well, I mean, I can't say I got 3 hours. I might have about like 15 minutes left, but
Well,
but yeah.
if your Wi-Fi would work, then we would have already been on 26 minutes. But
Um,
It is what it
but
is.
basically, for Elliot, that just is starting to follow Anton. If I don't know if he actually posted it as a reel, but if you see his reaction to the Philippine women winning
Yeah.
in the Women's World Cup, I have never seen a reaction like that because he's just standing there in front of the TV. And now, granted, now this is the Hollywood side. I was hoping
Yeah.
he'd turn around and like a tear go down the side of his cheek,
Yeah.
but you could tell he didn't want to turn around because he was crying. Because you could tell he was crying from the back. So we didn't get the cool Hollywood ending, but you
I
could
mean,
tell what
they
it
still got
meant
to
to him.
win. And in the
Yeah,
first game against Switzerland, they scored that goal. If that's not disallowed, maybe they won that game too.
yeah, that one, right?
Because
And
I
what a
thought it was a goal. I
terrible
don't know what everyone else thinks, but I thought it was a goal. I
me
was
it
too.
gutted.
was.
And
It
what a
was.
terrible penalty kick they give against us.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
agreed.
mean, the girl sliding away from goal. The girl who's kicking it away can't see her sliding. It's crazy.
Because then you win
But
that game and the other game, and then the
we're
one we don't
through.
need to mention doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now,
So,
now, how big, as far as like the Philippines, how big is like say the national team following as far as the men and now the women? How large is that following?
the following for the national team is very good. For the women's side, it blew up. You know,
Mm,
for soccer in the Philippines, it's like the U.S. Basketball is number one over there. Volleyball is actually number two, and then you got boxing, MMA number three. So
okay,
soccer and football would fall into the number four sport. I mean, we got
okay.
a professional league and all. The women's league is kicking off next year, so that's
Awesome.
looking good. Yeah, so I mean, you know, hopefully with what they did in the World Cup, we'll start seeing a lot more attention to football in the country.
Because like one of the big things is I know how big like say Bayern Munich and the European giants are in the Philippines and like Singapore and that type of stuff. That's why they do the preseason tournaments there. Um, one of the things that I've always wanted to do is go out there and cover, you know what I'm saying, the sport in that area because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of like say I hate being classified as an influencer, but somebody that has, you know what I'm saying, a following and stuff like that that's not from the Philippines or from that area that goes over there and watches the game and covers the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the ultras culture, the fan culture, you see a lot of Europe. You see the US is kind of going up there. But you see a lot of South Americas, the Boca Juniors and River Plates, the Napolis, the Romas, you know what I'm saying, those types of
Yep.
things. But you never see, you know what I'm saying, the far eastern squads.
I
Um,
mean, unless you go to Indonesia, it's crazy. I'm telling you over there. I'm not sure if you guys heard, last year about that stampede that happened in the
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Indonesia is another beast. I'm telling you, they are football crazy over there. For us, the biggest game that we played in or I played in, we're sitting there. driving to the stadium half a mile away takes us 45 minutes because it's a sea of people. You get into the stadium, there are
Damn.
92,000 people inside the stadium, you know. They got another 10,000 people outside the stadium watching the game on big screens, right? So this is how crazy and how fanatic they are over there.
Now, is
So
that a club game or a national team game?
That one was a national team game, but then when it comes down to the clubs just get just as crazy. They got all the ultras and
Shit.
everything out there too. Yeah, it's mental. You should check some stuff out on YouTube. You know,
so it's comparable to like the European atmosphere then?
Indonesia, yes. Thailand, almost there. Malaysia, it's still a little bit of ways, but those are the probably three biggest countries. Vietnam also gets a good following. You know,
What
yeah.
do you think needs to happen for them to, I guess, close the gap between Europe and those sort of countries?
You know, I mean, we're getting there. If you see Vietnam and Thailand,
Yeah,
they're getting close to qualifying. I believe who was it? Thailand or Vietnam? One of them. They had a competition. They came in like fifth or sixth.
yeah.
Two World Cup qualifiers ago to be able to enter. You know, I mean, the level is there. It's just we just got one little thing that's missing. That key thing. Maybe it's the physicality of it. I don't know. You know, but
I mean,
it's
because if you look as far as like say the national teams, you've got like as far as like that Eastern European side, you've got the Japans and the Koreas and stuff like that that are
Excellent.
doing well. But it's the thing of when you see like say the women's leagues where or the women's tournament where you have a Vietnam, where you have a Philippines and stuff like that are in there, you can tell that the class player is there. It's just it's not quite to that being
Level.
equal across the whole board. Does that make sense? It's like they're like 4 years away from doing like what everybody in Europe did to the US 4 years
Right.
ago.
Well, plus the win in the World Cup, even though they lost to the U.S., I thought they played the Vietnam played really well
Yeah.
against the U.S. and three. I don't think the three goals really shows how well they played, and that goalkeeper who's I don't know 5'3", saving an Alex Morgan penalty, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
So stuff like
And
that, and that's progress to me. Even though the other two games they didn't play that well, but to even put that type of performance against the U.S., I think is amazing.
yeah, I mean that's the thing that I'd love to see more of. And that's kind of why I want to see like a Philippines or a Thailand, Indonesia, you know what I'm saying, Guam, one of those make the World Cup qualifiers and
Yeah,
make a run just to see, you know what I'm saying, 2026 they're expanding it out to what, 32 or
48.
is that
48.
It was
48.
48.
okay, so it gives
Yeah.
you a whole lot better of a chance to throw a few of those teams in there.
Yeah,
Yep.
And I mean,
Yep.
I'd love it because if Jonah and Jason make it, maybe they can give me some tickets. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, you know, I mean, well, I'll hopefully bring over some other Far East United talent over the years. You know that you'll be able to communicate with. You know,
Well, and you had one of the Philippine ladies on the team, right?
yeah, Sophia. So
Yeah.
Sophia Harrison, she was playing left back, number 16. Um, so she was out there on our team over there in Far East United as well. You know.
Okay.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was nice.
See?
She's actually from North Carolina, so it was nice to be able to get her out there. You know, it was a good mix of players, I would say. You know.
And I mean, and the thing is even if you look at like say the team itself was really well organized and put together to feed off of each other's strengths. Um, not to mention y'all had and I'll personally say Mo Ali had the better jersey just because well he had like an artist create it. But
That helps.
as far as not having like Kid Super on your damn team to design everything, y'all literally had the best jerseys outside of Mo Ali, who obviously Kid Super was the guy that did most of that. But
Thank you, thank
the
you.
the the logo itself, like that was I don't know if you saw the like the little trailer behind the main stand where they were selling all the gear and stuff. They had to like I think they restocked the stickers for Far East United like 3 or 4 times. Like that's all I saw kids just grabbing the stickers and it didn't click in my head like, hey, go buy the sticker now. Um so I don't know, let me check. No, I didn't get one. So I
Uh,
next year I got to go the first day of the tournament. I'm going to that little thing and I'm buying every sticker they got. I mean, granted, it's gonna cost me like $40, but that was one of the cooler things. And if y'all are back in it again, you're damn right I'm getting one of those.
oh yeah, we definitely plan on coming back, and we'll come back with some good fire, you know.
Now, how did you get the is it the AIA sponsorship?
Yeah,
Like the same thing as now that's the same company that Spurs has, right?
exactly. Yes.
How did you work that?
Really?
Well, I mean, they support all of my seven aside stuff in the Philippines, right? So they're my partners
Okay.
out there. They're my main sponsors, and I love them for what they do. They're all about giving back to the community, trying to be able to push football as as a community builder, right?
Mm,
And their tagline is healthier, longer, better lives. So they're very much looking into the athletic space or the sports space to be able to support. And we cater to kids from 3 years old to 17 years old.
okay.
And we impact probably about 5,000, 6,000 kids across the country. So, um,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean,
Well,
they're really
just
happy with
tell them that I have space like on the outside of these windows.
it.
If they want to sponsor a one-eyed Bavarian like YouTube show, I'm down with that.
I'll let them
So
know. I'll let them know. I'll put in a word.
I'm cheap. I'm cheap. Let's see. Danielle said something else. Let's see. She said she grew up in the States. Um, and
Just
if
guessing
it
you up there.
wasn't for Elliot, I wouldn't have gotten it. Oh Lord Jesus. Elliot, who is Danielle? Do you know Danielle?
Yeah.
Oh, she's gassing you up.
We
Gas.
I have
She's
a
gassing him
podcast.
up.
I have my own podcast, but I co-host a podcast with her as well. So
Oh Lord. See, Anton, I got to be careful with these co-hosts. They're over here gassing each other up with
I
implants
didn't tell
into
her to
the.
do that. I just said, watch this.
Uh-huh. Now, Anton, which would you claim as your biggest accomplishment as far as like say your career, either playing football, your career as I guess you can be classified as a model, but your career is that, or like say post career or post playing career. Which one would you say was the driving force of what I'm saying that made you what you are today?
Well, I mean, I gotta say, it was my older brother always gave me that push. We grew up very competitive. So
Hmm.
he's 3 years older than me, and when it came down to soccer, it's what he was good at. So I always wanted to be good at him and compete against him. And, so I guess the playing side of it would be the thing I'm probably always going to be most proud about. I mean, playing for your country, that's something not many people get to do, right?
Hmm.
You're one out of 25 chosen to represent a country,
Hmm.
and you're going out there knowing that you're representing, in the Philippines, it's 112 million people, right, all
Good
across the
Lord.
world,
Phew.
right?
That's
So
a
that,
big population.
I mean, we think about it, it's much bigger than just going out there and representing, you know, ourselves and our teammates, right?
Mm.
We're representing our people and shit. So that's what made it very special. Every time you go hear that national anthem when you're out there on the field, that's when it starts getting like most real. You
Hmm.
feel your hair standing up. You feel, you get the chills, and that's when it's go time. So
How did it feel
yeah.
to score? Because I I looked up your stats or whatever. But how did it feel to score for the first time for your country? Because I'd take the last 12 years off my life if I could do that once. So I'm really curious of what that felt like.
That was crazy. Like I got my hair standing up right now just thinking about it. It was. I'll always remember it. It was about 35 out, a free kick. We were playing at home in one of the busier provinces where people actually care about football. And when I scored, it was actually against my wife's country, against Brunei.
Oh my goodness!
And I mean, the stadium blew up, and it was, yeah. I mean, I'll remember it like it was yesterday. It was
Well,
amazing.
now we know how Anton caught her eye. We know how that happened.
Yeah. And I had another question. So I saw that you're born in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
So you had an option between playing for or representing the U.S. and Philippines, and I think about this a lot because I guess I'm not a footballer, but I would be eligible to play for more than one nation. I always think about what choice I would have made. For you, what did you ever consider the two options, or why did you kind of go towards Philippines?
Well, I mean, you know, I was always proud to be Filipino.
Yeah,
For the U.S., it takes a lot to be able to make it through the U.S. scene, especially back in my day.
right.
Back in
Mm.
my day, you play soccer, all the guys would call you a pussy. I mean, if you didn't play basketball, baseball, or football, right?
Yeah,
So that's the stuff that we had to deal with. But then that means that if you didn't go to a top college or
Yeah.
play OTP,
right.
then you weren't going to get looked at. So,
Mm.
that's where over here, this is really where I really want to find ways to be able to give back and make it easy to give people the opportunity to play professionally, right? Because that doesn't happen too often out here. So
Right.
came out easy in the Philippines, and in the Philippines, it was a way that you could actually impact and make a difference by playing for a team, right?
Right.
And I was able to see that firsthand because after our tournament in 2010, a professional league happened. We ended up going from like 10 academies to like 100 plus academies across the country. So something just like that really impacted, I guess, the sport in the country in a big way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, now the thing is, as far as like say that, um, when you were playing, it would have been around the same time as like say the Jimmy Conrads and the Landon Donovans and all of them, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, it's during that time in the U.S., they already pretty much had that
Core.
locked in core group guys, and out of the like say the 25 guys, they were only maybe looking for two, if that.
Yeah. Exactly. You know,
Okay.
it,
So
it
I
was
mean,
always hard for me.
it's the same thing. Like if I look at it, like say with the same as Elliot and the same as you, I was born here, but due to FIFA rules and U.S. State Department
Yeah.
rules, I'm a dual national. So I've got Germany and the U.S.
Same.
I would have done just like Jermaine Jones did, just like who else? Timothy Tillman, Malik Tillman, those guys. But instead of switching to the U.S., I would have just stuck with Germany and just been happy to play in a youth level, because that's where like it's the same as for like Anton. That's the roots of my family.
Yeah,
That's where they're from.
I'm the same way because I would be eligible for Romania, Israel, and the U.S., but I have a more like a in tune connection with Romania than the U.S. and probably I would, if I was a footballer, I probably have more opportunities to play for them than the United States. As long as I'm not like the best player in the world. So that's kind of the decision I would make, is to play for Romania for kind of the same reasons you two just said.
Yeah. So see, all three of us agree. None of us would play for the U.S.
Yep. Well, after the whole Abby Wambach's foreign guy comments, I was definitely not the U.S. now.
Yeah, yeah, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it
But
is. All good.
Now, Anton, you had said when you heard like the Philippines anthem and stuff like that, the hair stood up and all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question. You can answer it. You don't. That's fine. Um, Going to the Philippines and in the U.S., you've seen games in the U.S. where every pro sport, every amateur sport, every kid sport has the national anthem played before it. When you go to the Philippines, it's not probably not that same way. It's probably like in Germany, you only hear that national anthem for World Cup matches, that level of stuff, or an Olympics. Do you do you think that the oversaturation of them playing the national anthem in the U.S. may be coming to fruition as far as like why some athletes don't like in the politics when they're like, oh well, this athlete's not singing it as loud as like say Colombia or Ecuador or the Philippines. Do you think that just that oversaturation and always singing it, it's always there? You hear it from the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, you know what I'm saying? All those. Do you think that if they only played it during national team games and Olympic games and stuff like that, that there may be a different feeling? Does that make sense? Like the national anthem would hit a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, of course, right? I mean, it's like supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
If you don't play it enough, then the less you hear it, the more impactful it's gonna be, right? I
Hmm.
mean, in a way, it's like, if you provide less, the more people will want it in a way. But when it comes down to an athlete and people playing and representing country, I think
Hmm.
it's always going to be up to that person. It's always going to
Yeah.
be up to the player. You know, every player looks at why they're stepping on the field, maybe for a different reason, right? You know,
Hmm.
some do it personal, some do it for their teammates, some do it for their parents. You know, some do it for their family.
Hmm.
You know, everybody's
And
got the
and
universal one for the country, right?
And the crazy thing is like when, and it, like you said, it's up to the player because you've got some players that when they step out there, they may hear the national anthem, they hear the crowd, they let the crowd build them up, and then you have those certain players that they're zoned in. It doesn't matter what the hell you play around them, they ain't hearing it. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's to hear people like on the news that never watch a sport like football or that type of stuff. It drives me nuts when they're like, "Oh, they're so anti whatever country because they're not singing the national anthem." Well, it's like some of those people are singing it. Some of them are zoned in, and it doesn't. You could sit there and play whatever the hell you want. They're never going to hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
as we've all been to a national team game or to a club game, we've heard the fans and what they yell.
Mhm.
If you listen and hear all of that, yeah, that's going to mess with your head. That's why a lot of players just zone everything out, and that could include the national anthem as well. And I understand that. A lot of people understand that, but it's like some people just don't for
Yeah,
some
I
reason.
mean, you know, it's unless you experience it firsthand, it's different. I mean, I always compare it to, I guess, any given Sunday, right?
Okay.
If you guys watch that movie,
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx, right? Everything goes black and white, and it's almost like quiet, but you see people shouting and doing everything.
Hmm.
That's literally what it's like on the field. And then after the game's over, I mean, there are times where, shoot, I won't even remember what the guy looks like who I was playing up against because
Hmm.
I'm just so focused on, making sure I'm getting the job done. Right. Yeah.
They turn more into a shadow of a person than like say the person itself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Now, before we let you go, or before your Wi-Fi fucks up again, we're gonna go ahead and get the halftime part over, and then we can continue on as long as you're available. Um, so, how does it make you feel to know that there's millions of fans and now playing or having the 7v7 with the younger kids and stuff like that? How does it make you feel that there's millions of players and fans that look up to you because of what you've done as a player and now as a founder of a 7v7? How does that make you feel?
Um, it makes me want to do more. You know, I'm very godly driven, so I feel like God put me on this world, gave me this talent and everything to be able to impact, right? When it comes down to 7v7, I look at it much bigger than normal people look at it. They'll look at it as a tournament, as a game, but I'm looking at it as creating a sport. And you got to imagine, if you're creating a sport, it's like creating a whole new industry.
Mm,
Imagine all the jobs that you create, from players, coaches, physios, kitmen, social media managers. Another avenue for you to be able to come over, you know. But then it gives another avenue for kids to be able to dream to be professionals again. It gives an
mm.
avenue for players like myself who still want to keep on playing, maybe extend their career a little bit, right? So, I mean, for me, this is where my head's at, and I'm very much on that mission to make seven-a-side soccer a sport. So, yeah.
Now, this is your chance to speak to whichever group you like. It can be Filipino people, it can be kids, it can be, what I'm saying, whatever group you want to motivate them to get through the second half of their day, their week, their month, what I'm saying, or just get through the next dark period. Because like when I was looking for that, when I went through my rec, there was never really that type of content out there. So I'm trying to use this platform to bridge that gap so people can find out that content. So it's all
Well,
yours.
well, anybody out there that is looking for some help, looking for some guidance, from a football side, there are a lot of role models out there. Go find yourself one. Go find yourself someone to look up to. Like I said, I'm very godly, so the person I look up to is God. Whether you follow a God or not, make sure you have somebody up there that you can always keep you motivated to push more, right? Because life's full of roller coasters. It's ups and downs, but the more you keep on pushing, and as long as you're pushing to do good, I think things work in your favor.
That
Beautiful,
works.
beautifully said.
See, wasn't that hard?
Thanks. But I mean, this is true. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really how I live by and everything. I mean, things like Far East United, the TST, all of this stuff popping up, the Kings League. It very much shows that everything that I've been working on since 2018 and pushing seven-a-side soccer is all coming to life.
Mm.
Internationally, worldwide. So it just proves that this whole concept could work and that it can be a platform for being a professional sport. So, yeah.
And the TST, the whole tournament itself. I mean, besides the ungodly hot weather, I mean, that was one of the coolest experiences as far as like for me, quote unquote, media side. I mean, I've seen like say their basketball tournament and stuff like that on TV, but and I brought this up to one of the founders. I said, how long do you expect it to be before the soccer version overtakes the basketball version? And he's like, oh, we've got 8 years uh, head start in the basketball one. Well, for me, it's like, dude, you saw how fast TST took over the entire sport of football as far as media and all that type of stuff. So to think, what do you think's going to happen when you have Far East United, Wrexham, U.S. women's team? Then you have a Bayern Munich, a Barcelona, a Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? You start getting these teams, and then you're playing a Newtown Pride, or you're playing a SLC Canada. You know what I'm saying? Or Fala Triple F or Zala Triple F, and
Yeah.
you have, you know what I'm saying, these small sided teams that are built of, you know what I'm saying, Far East veterans. You have Conrad's team that's all US veterans, Sneaky Fox that you men's national team veterans. So I mean it's, you know what I'm saying, 2 3 years down the road, this is for me personally, it's going to dwarf the basketball version because they're
100%.
you're gonna want to have an Asian, like say an Asian version that qualifies for the main tournament, and then the South American version, the American version, and then the European version. So they're gonna. It's the same as the basketball tournament, but instead of Toledo region and Albuquerque and all this shit, you're gonna have like the Germany division, the fucking Philippines division, and that
Hmm.
type of stuff. Uh, I don't think I don't think it quite set in because I talked to him at like media day before everything started. I don't think it hit him how big that shit can be and how fast it can grow. Especially
Yeah,
with like say you doing 7v7 leagues all over the world. Now it's
exactly.
become and we found out very quickly 7v7 MASL small ball teams are the ones that succeed.
Yep,
So you may be creating players that create a team from one of your leagues that ends up beating the shit out of a Bayern Munich or Roma or a Como 1907.
exactly. I mean, I'm telling you, I had my first Asia Cup back in April, where we had a national team from Japan, national team from India, national team from Brunei fly over to the Philippines. You guys should look it up. I'll shoot you guys some links.
Okay.
Definitely.
The Japan team that came out there and played, they they could have competed to be top 8, maybe top 4 of the TST for sure. You know, probably could have taken the tournament. So they had a
Mm.
very good team. They totally understand because my group from Japan, they have 7-a-side leagues in 8 different cities across their country, right?
Okay.
And you know how the Japanese are. They're very, yeah.
Yeah.
So and when these guys, I mean, they're one of the best futsal countries, in the world, right?
Hmm.
So you imagine merging, getting some Japanese futsal players together with some Japanese 11-a-side players into a 7-a-side format. Shit,
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
because I mean,
Imagine
even if you look at like say the Newtown Pride team that Oliveira played on, and
that.
he
Hmm.
played at Gremio
Yeah,
as one of South America's best strikers in the futsal area. So it's when you start asking these MASL guys that were so successful in that, like, who would you want to never see on the other side of a TST tournament? And they're rattling off these players, and I'm like, all right, let me check out this guy. Let me check out this guy. And they all kind of, to an extent, brought up some guy from like Barcelona. And when I
yeah.
watched him play, I was like, sweet Jesus. It's like the futsal Messi. I
Crazy.
mean, this
Really?
kid's nuts. And the crazy thing is that you mentioned Japan because two of them brought up some player that plays in Japan. And
Okay.
I mean, he's not the biggest guy in the world. I don't remember his name, but they sent me like some highlights from different like soccer pages on Instagram. He's a small little dude, but sweet baby Jesus, the kid's quick as shit. And it's
Oh
like
yeah.
it's just one of those things when you see him just come off the ball and he just shakes and goes, and the guy's just standing there like, the fuck just happened? That's the type of stuff. It's like, yeah, I want to see what like you said, like a Japan team come on over. Brazilian squad. I'd love to see what a Japan, a Brazilian, a German side, those types would bring over and just see what they have. I'd
Yeah.
kind of be afraid of like the Brazilian squad because that Brazilian squad may beat the brakes off of somebody.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm
But
tempted to like go to the favelas and just be like, hey, I need like 12 of y'all. Which one of y'all wants to play?
Probably would work too.
yeah,
Yeah, just
it,
be like, hey, I'll find some sponsors. We'll fly y'all up there. We'll compete in this Joker. We could win $1 million, dude. They'd be all about that shit. I don't know how
hey,
to
but
speak Portuguese, so I don't know how well that'd work.
Google Translate.
guys, I had to break in, but I gotta get back to the wife now. I told her she gave me an
Yeah,
hour, so if we good, all
see,
right. Um, but I'd love to be able to do this again, especially with better internet, with the proper background and everything for you guys.
Hey, we can arrange that.
All right. No, but I was awesome. It was awesome having a chat. I know this was long overdue, so thank you for the time.
Oh yes, and we'll definitely get you back on. We'll just have to
All right.
schedule it around you actually having internet.
All right. All right, guys. You
All
guys
right.
take care.
Yes, sir.
God
Good to
bless.
meet you.
Take care. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
But yeah, so everybody, that was Anton. Um, I mean, we can go for a little bit longer
Sure,
if you're available.
I'm available.
I gotta let my dog out in like 30 minutes, so
Okay.
got at least 30 minutes.
All right.
But
Cool.
yeah, I mean, back to Anton. So I mean, that's the first time you've interviewed a former national team player or
Yeah,
technically
I've
active
I've
type
worked
player.
with I've worked with two high school players, and at the moment that's it. So this was a big step up. So it was very cool.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because you've seen like the stuff online.
Yeah,
He's kind of a big deal in the Philippines and out
I
that way.
googled the name, and then I saw he had 47 caps for the Philippines, and I got excited.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty damn talented.
Yeah,
Now, granted, but you do understand why I said the whole took so long to find a picture of him with a shirt
yeah,
on.
yeah. I looked on Google.
But yeah. So I mean, besides like Harry Kane going to Bayern Munich, as far as
Hmm.
that type of news, um, do you see and being like say covering the Italian league as well? Do you see Juventus selling Deshaun Vlahovic to Chelsea and getting Lukaku, or based off of the fan reaction of them storming the pitch and kind of like attacking the players?
I
Do you
mean,
see that as maybe a deterrent?
I think from a business sense, it makes sense because Vlahovic would be Chelsea need a striker because Nkunku just got injured, and then Lukaku. His last year wasn't great, but at the second half of the season he looked good. And Juve need a striker because I just think they lack a lot at the moment. I think they haven't really brought anybody in. They brought in Timothy Weah from Lille, but he has 5 goals in the last 2 seasons. It's just they just haven't done anything that excites me. Losing Di
Mhm.
Maria, haven't replaced him, so there's a multitude of issues, and now it's looking like a couple of their young players are going to be going off to Lazio. But
Okay.
after the fan reaction, I don't think they can do it because
Well,
those
I mean,
fans.
my thing is when you had said that like Juventus needs a striker,
Yeah,
Vlahovic is better than Lukaku.
I
But
agree.
I think
I
the
would
thing
keep him.
is well, but for me, like I wanted him at Bayern Munich over
Yeah, I
Harry
know. I
Kane.
know.
Um, but I mean, I'm not mad at Harry Kane, like as far as a signing, because
Yeah,
he's extremely good at what he does. I don't like signing England players because I don't like English fans.
I don't either.
And based off of like say Twitter, and you've seen the Twitter reaction to a lot I post, those
Yeah,
little fucking Spurs fans get all pissy and moany and bitchy.
yeah,
Um, I guess that's what happens when you never can brag about anything but a fucking Audi Cup. But
yeah, yeah. I agree. I
but
like
for
my thing is.
me,
Go ahead.
it's like Vlahovic checked out mentally. Like I think he's personally fucking done with Allegri and all his bullshit.
I think Allegri's style of football killed him. I think that's because when we saw
I
him at
think it killed
Fiorentina,
Chiesa too.
agreed. Uh, because at Fiorentina he was awesome, and then he goes to Juve and he started well, but then after like the first couple weeks of his new team, it just
Mm.
tapered off. And last season he was not that inspiring. He had a few good goals and stuff like that, but yeah, I just think Allegri is the big problem. If anybody should be leaving the club,
It's him.
it should be him because
Yeah.
I just don't. At one point he was a great manager, but he's not anymore. He doesn't understand how to handle his own team, and I don't
Well,
know.
what the team is built out of. I mean, you're built to be. Now, granted, this was based off of last year with Di
Yeah,
Maria and all of them. You're built to go forward fast.
Yeah,
You're built to not play that Atletico Madrid, Leicester City. Let's build up in the back and then dump it forward and then somebody run it down.
yeah.
Because I mean, Vlahovic is not that guy. He's not built that way.
No.
But if you're still going to play the same way, and Lukaku's the guy that you think, I hate to break that to him.
Yeah.
He must never have ever seen Lukaku play because he ain't that guy either.
No, I completely agree. And they already have who was Milik and Keane, and I think Milik had a better season than Lukaku last season by a
Yeah.
little. So it's just like, as sort of like looking at what they're trying to do, they're not doing anything that should actively, you know, intimidate anybody. I mean, this is a Juve team with Vlahovic and with Di Maria. They got, you know, crushed by Napoli in that one game 5-1, and they just don't look like the Juve that they used to look like. Even though I support a club that can't sign a striker, even I think that they're kind of in a similar situation in the sense of they're not doing anything that should concern pretty much any of the top six. And of the people in that conversation, all of them should believe that they can finish in front of them because of Allegri and because of kind of the stuff that, you know, kind of is going on.
Yeah. And I mean, and you're a Roma fan, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So the thing is you literally, like Bayern Munich, we signed De Ligt, who everybody said was overpriced and wasn't that good and wasn't doing well. He comes to us, instantly world-class center back.
Right.
Like one of the best on earth.
Yeah.
And all it took was a change of pace. It's the same as Dybala was like some ungodly talent. Then Allegri starts doing his dumb shit.
Yeah.
And then and you basically kill a young talent that is ungodly. I mean, it's Dybala. You shouldn't have an issue with him. But the minute he leaves, he's not that bad. Now, granted, he's not a world beater.
Not anymore, but he's.
But I mean,
last year he was one of the best players, and you look at how valuable he was for a Roma team that I liked certain pieces, but wasn't good enough, and he still ended up. You know, it's like I don't know what it's like with the number. There's some stat where it's like 7 years in a row he's got 10 goals, 10 assists, and only him and two other players have ever done that. And I think, Dybala is so important to us. And
the bad thing is do y'all still have Tammy Abraham?
Yeah, but he's injured, and we're looking for strikers, and it seems like every day there's a new one. It seems like Zapata from Atalanta is the latest one. Because there's this kid at Santos was supposed to come in now. Santos doesn't want him to leave, and he's trying to push him move out. And it's just a mess. But I just need a striker by the time the season opens, at least for Roma.
Well, I mean, me being, I guess, anti-Charlotte FC, go get Karol Swiderski from Charlotte FC. I mean, he's just as good as Milik and Piatek, and I mean, definitely not as good as Lewandowski. But I mean, as far as a solid striker in a European system, Karol Swiderski would work at Roma.
Interesting.
Because he does the same type of goofy shots that Lewandowski does. He does the same, and I don't want to pigeonhole him into traditionalized Polish striker.
Yeah.
But Swiderski, Piatek, Milik, Lewandowski, they all play the same. They all do the same type of shots. They're all roughly built the same.
Lewandowski's just way better than the rest of them.
Well, Lewandowski's also had better chances.
Yeah, true.
Dortmund, Bayern, Barcelona versus, like, say, Piatek that was killing it at AC Milan, then went to Hertha Berlin. And you know what I'm saying?
Well. They loaned him for like a couple of years, and I mean, Hertha still got relegated without him, but he wasn't helping them either.
Milik was at what? He was at Napoli, right?
He was at Napoli. Then he almost came to Roma, and it was a whole thing, and they didn't do the move, so he went to Marseille. Had 20 goals season, went to Juve, and then I think he signed on a permanent deal. But they haven't. Again, they haven't signed any like striker other than like permanently signing Keane and Milik, and that's it. So.
And see, the other issue is why would Juventus re-sign Paul Pogba? That's just asinine.
Yeah.
Why you would waste any funds on the guy that really has? I mean, granted, if he's fully healthy as a center defending mid, maybe a center back at this point, he'd be worth it. But if you're trying to get a guy
Yeah,
that's going to go forward, you're wasting your time,
and
effort,
he's their
and
highest
everything
paid
else.
player and played like 100 minutes. So
Really?
there's that as well.
Wow. But I mean, now switching back to like say Bayern Munich, with us
Yeah,
getting Kim Min Jae, Delict. I mean, the thing is why hasn't like say the Italian market been able to keep some of the best defending side, like the best defenders? Because you got to think Kim Min Jae was arguably one of the best center backs period last year.
I think to be honest, I think he was the best out of all of them. But that's just my viewpoint.
But I mean, the thing is to be like, hey, we're gonna let Bayern Munich sign Delict, which is one of the at that point was one of the best younger center backs,
Yeah, the delay
and
one
then
makes no
and
sense to me.
then well, then you've got Kim and Jay it's the very next year. So it's like,
Yeah,
why would say Napoli and I mean, I understand why Napoli got rid of Kim and Jay. It was just a release clause. So I mean, that was
yeah,
kind of
they
easy.
negotiated it poor. Well, now it looks like they negotiated poorly, but they signed this from 18 from Fenerbahce. Nobody really knew that much about him, and he has this amazing first season, and then they're trapped because they got that 60 million release clause on his contract, and there's nothing. And again,
Mm.
Napoli, Bayern, I think is obviously Bayern is an upgrade to Napoli, even though they won the league, and he already won the league, so.
I mean, do you see Napoli falling off like a lot?
Not a lot. I think as long as they have Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia, I think they're good. I think I haven't finished my whole table yet, but I do think I'll probably pick them to finish second or third, probably second. But I don't
Behind which Milan team?
Inter. I think, but
Because we know it's going to be one of those two.
yeah, but I think they'll be second, but it won't feel that way because I think Inter. I'm not saying they're going to win by 20 points, but I think they'll comfortably. If they do what they're supposed to do, they should comfortably finish top.
Okay.
But I think for Napoli, finishing second, first and then second isn't a bad downgrade. But it's just I don't think their goalkeeper is very good. Napoli. So you take away Kim, I think they're going to concede more goals because the rest of their backline isn't as I guess efficient in
Okay.
sort of keeping clean sheets. So I do think they're going to concede more goals. Because in my view, Kim got their goalkeeper paid a new contract that he probably wouldn't have got otherwise. But
Okay.
I think they'll drop off, but I don't think it'll be like going from second to seventh or something like that.
Okay. Now Juve is still officially out of all Europe, right? They can't be playing any European
Yeah,
competition
I
this
think
year.
I think it's a slap on the wrist though because they got knocked out of the conference league that they didn't want to be in to begin with.
Okay.
So it's just like they're not actually getting. They got punished because they couldn't finish in the Champions League last year because of all the stuff. But they also didn't want to be in the conference league, and they kicked them out of the conference league. So it's not much.
Now
punishment
is
on top of that.
is Robin Gosens still at Inter Milan,
For the
or,
moment,
or was he at Inter Milan or was he at
he's at
Atalanta?
Inter. He was at Atalanta and
Okay.
then Inter Milan, but he's still
Okay.
there. There's talks about him leaving, but I haven't. I don't think anything concrete has happened since then. So he's still there, but for now. But I don't know what will happen over the next couple of weeks. He's one of the players that maybe could exit, but he's there for now at least.
Do you see Osimhen? Do you see him leaving Napoli not this summer, but possibly in the winter or next summer?
Probably next summer. I would be shocked if he's still there a year from now. I
Okay.
think he should have left now because his value won't be as
Will
high.
never
as it
be
is
that. Yeah.
as high.
The issue with me was when he was first discussed, like when we had Brazo and Oliver Kahn, and he was
Yeah.
like the top guy.
Yeah.
I thought it was just absolutely insane to ever hear him and the number 150 or 200 million like euros
Yeah.
to his name. That because the thing is he scored above 20 goals once?
So he's been world class in the league one time. The other three times, there's always been question marks. And my theory on this is the Georgian kid comes and makes everything really simple for him, so he scores all these goals. You take
Yeah,
the kid from Georgia away from him. If it's just Osimhen, he's not getting whatever he got, 32 goals. He'll
yeah,
get probably his 18 to 20. So if you
yeah.
got guys that can service him, then that's a good signing for Munich. But again, the price tag was crazy, so I wouldn't have done it either. But I think wherever he goes next, somebody better be able to give him the ball, because if you can't give him the ball, he's going to get you
Yeah.
18-ish, which isn't
And I
bad, but not
and I
for
mean the thing is
50.
you've also got to think we've seen as far as like Bundesliga's, we've seen him play at Wolfsburg,
He wasn't
and
very good.
he was straight ass.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean he
That's
the
my favorite German side, so I'm very aware of that.
yeah. So I mean you hear Bayern fans that just completely shit on people like Serge Gnabry or maybe a Choupo-Moting, and then out of the other side of their mouth they're like, yeah, we want Victor Osimhen, and I'm like, dude, you haven't been around long enough if you don't remember him at Wolfsburg.
Yeah,
Because what you're giving Serge Gnabry and Choupo-Moting shit for now
yeah.
is literally what he did then. Like
To be fair,
missing
Chiba,
fucking sitters.
yeah, Chiba Moting was crushing it under Nagelsmann. Um,
He was until he got hurt.
yeah,
Like
that's a
his
good point.
back injury that turned into a knee that turned
Yeah,
into a hip, and
but it
I,
was
f- I
before that, it
think
was like his
Choupo's just
highest.
getting a little old.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that he's the next guy, but 18. I mean, 18 goals for someone like him, I think
Yeah,
is very good. And yeah, I mean, Osimhen, the price tag of Osimhen was just crazy, so I wouldn't have done it either. But and Bayern could have got someone else. I mean, they have Kane now, but before they did, there are other people they could have gotten for less money, and that's less risky, I guess.
yeah. And the thing that I love to see was when it was Brazo and them, you instantly they hated Dusan Vlahovic. They hated him, and I couldn't ever wrap my head around why.
Yeah,
Then I started thinking outside the box. I was like, okay, Vlahovic is from Serbia. Brazo is Bosnian.
yeah, maybe that's
Now,
why.
now I know why they hate each other.
Yeah,
So it's
maybe
like
that's
that makes total sense on why they hate each other. And
also too.
somebody had asked me, they were like, "Well, tell me how you get that." I was like, "Dude, I am not getting into Baltic politics because I ain't got a fucking clue, but I know
Yeah,
Serbia and Bosnia have fucking issues. That's
yeah.
all I know, and
Plus those two
that's as far as I
have
know to go."
done a lot of and said a lot of stupid things. So
Yeah. But then when you bring in like a Kolo Muani from France, and everybody was like, "Why don't we get him?" And I'm like, "Okay, he was at Frankfurt and he did well this year. He's the same age." And I didn't realize, I thought he was like 19. I didn't realize him and Osimhen are the same fucking age.
yeah,
But I was like, okay, so you're just now realizing who Randall Kolo Muani is after the World Cup. You didn't even know who he was in August of last year, but now
yeah.
he's the savior. And I was like, you literally have Matthias Tell, who's the
I
exact
like
same player.
I like Matthias Tell a lot. I think he should have got more minutes last season. Um,
The only issue with me is, and I'm glad we got Kane early enough to
yeah,
where they weren't going to just give it to Tell and then yank the fucking rug out from under him.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
say we're gonna go for Kane in fucking January and let Matthias Till run for 3 months and then get comfortable right as you get Kane that yanks his
yeah.
fucking legs out from under him. So I mean, at
Like a clearer
least
vision now.
yeah, at least now we know that they have Kane. He can kind of learn from Kane. He can learn from Choupo-Moting,
Right.
and kind of maybe finally fall into that Mbappe kind of mold that they're trying, and everybody in France says he is.
Yeah,
Just
me
don't
too.
fall in that fucking Osimhen fucking role. We don't need that half-ass bullshit, and then all of a sudden pop in for 32 goals because some
Yeah, I
random
mean, if you
Jordanian dude shows up.
yeah, if you can get it for 50 million, then that's different. But if you're gonna pay 150 for someone, I need somebody in Pape class or something like that, because
Well,
otherwise
and
it's
I don't like paying. I don't like paying 100 million for Harry Kane. He's
yeah,
30 years
I wouldn't
old.
either.
But the thing is it's still it's fucking Harry Kane.
It's better
So I
than the
mean,
other alternatives too.
yeah. And I mean, and the thing is Harry Kane can pop off for 30 plus goals very easily.
Yeah.
When you look at a Dusan Vlahovic, he would probably pop off. You're looking at 25, maybe 30, until he got comfortable with the surroundings and all that type of stuff. Victor Osimhen, like you said, I don't see him getting above 18 or 20.
Yeah.
Even in the Bundesliga, I just don't
Yeah.
see it.
Especially
Kola
by himself.
Mawani, yeah, a Kola Mawani around the same type of level is how I see it. Now everybody will call me a fucking idiot and a smart ass and you're just a hater, blah blah blah.
No,
Nah,
you're right,
it's
because
just
otherwise,
Vlahovic and Kane are the guys that are built for Bayern system.
yeah. And I like Moani, but if he was this good, then why was he? Why did Nance let him go for free? I mean, I like him. I think he's a good player, but he's not that
Mm.
100 million type of player. Frankfurt trying to
And
get as much as they can, but he's
yeah,
not that level yet, at least.
and then if you saw on Twitter, you had guys that are like, oh well, Bayern can go buy Kane for 100 million, and the what do you call it? The financial disparity between Bayern and everybody else in the Bundesliga. You need to close that financial. Okay, if you open up the 50 plus one rule, you're only going to have like 4 teams that are going to be massively farther along than anybody else. I mean, you're
Yeah,
going to have the Leipzig because they've got the
they spent a lot of
third or
money already, but
yeah,
they
they've
still,
got the third or fourth richest owner on earth.
yeah,
You've got fucking Wolfsburg that has the power of fucking Volkswagen behind it, which is
they
arguably
still
one
don't
of the.
spend enough though. They don't really have put their
But if
balls on the
you
table and spent like 30, 40 on somebody.
but if you open the floodgates and allowed them to,
Yeah,
Volkswagen would pour that fucking car money in there.
yeah,
I
probably.
mean, and then you look at Bayern Munich. Everybody and their brother would want Bayern Munich just because of the brand level it is.
Yeah,
Dortmund would flow in because some Saudi fucking prince would want fucking Dortmund,
yeah, but they still would blow it somehow.
pretty much. Kind of like Newcastle does.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, have all the money in the world, you still finish fucking fourth. Good job.
Yeah,
Ah, shitbags. But I mean, the thing is yes, you can. I don't understand on why people want to give, like, say, an Arminia Bielefeld or a Heidenheim the same amount for finishing 18th
yeah,
as Bayern makes for first place. When, if you look, Dortmund went on a U.S. tour this summer,
yeah,
made money. Bayern went on an Asian tour, made money.
yeah.
I've seen Leverkusen, I've seen Wolfsburg, Frankfurt, you know what I'm saying, Cologne, all these teams. Now, Cologne definitely can't do it because they're financially fucked right now. But Frankfurt, Leverkusen, those teams can easily come over here and play against fucking Detroit City. They can come over here and play against Charlotte Independence, against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They can play the USL Championship crews.
Yeah.
They can come. I don't know how they, because I mean, I think the Philadelphia Union played against Wrexham. So I
Right.
mean, you can play those types of games. You can play Leverkusen versus fucking Wrexham, or Brighton's already over here. Play Brighton versus Frankfurt. That's going to raise you money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still may have to pay to get the team over here, but you're not paying that goddamn much. If you're in that FC series,
Yeah.
it's the same as Juve. Juve's broke as fuck. We
Yeah.
all
Man.
know Juve's broke as fuck. But they got to come over here and play Madrid. I mean, they should have played Barcelona, but I think 90% of Barcelona was on the shitter or some crap.
Because they're broker than anybody else, and they can still spend money.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is if you cannot tell me with a straight fucking face that teams like Frankfurt, Wolfsburg, Leverkusen, Leipzig, those teams can't come over to the U.S. and play in a fucking their own little like Premier League showdown.
Right.
You can't have those 4 teams, like say Leipzig, Frankfurt, Wolfsburg, and Leverkusen. Bring your
Yeah.
ass over here, pick 3 cities, play each other in those 3 cities, collect your paycheck, and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
If Brighton, Newcastle, and all them can do it, so the fuck can German teams. German teams just
Yeah.
don't want to.
Yeah.
So that's your difference with the incomes of Bayern and Dortmund making millions playing in the U.S. and Asia, while all the other teams are there playing with themselves.
Yeah.
And we know unless you have an OnlyFans, playing with yourself, you're not making money.
Fair point.
Yeah, I said that. It's my stream. I can say shit like
Hey, do what you want. It just caught me off guard.
that. Yes, I don't have. I should have warned you ahead of time. This isn't the typical live stream interview type shit.
Yeah, I got
I
you.
I don't do that live stream
Yeah,
interview
I
type
watched
shit.
your stream with I forgot that he's on like Instagram and TikTok, and he goes to like all these different games. I forgot Tiago or something. Yeah,
Fiago.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the first one ever. So that one was kind of me trying to figure out like what I can and can't do. Fuck,
Right.
I didn't figure out any of that shit.
Yeah, it's all
It's
good.
still just like I was watching YouTube soccer videos
Yeah,
or like TYT sports where they're politically sport videos,
yeah,
and like they can't say if somebody's like abuse or you know what I'm saying, something along those lines, they'll bleep it out,
yeah.
and it's like fuck your monetary bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. I don't. If I'm gonna say the F word 30,000 times in a live stream with
Yeah.
somebody, the fuck do I care if they're not gonna monetize it? They're not
Right.
gonna monetize it any fucking way. So
Exactly.
fuck them. I say what I want when I want. I don't give a shit. But now that is the reason why I can't like have Bayern players or anything
Yeah.
along those lines. Can't do that for the specific reason of you can't say what you want. Well,
Yeah.
okay, let me take that back. You can say what you want, but the consequences of what you say, you're gonna fucking pay for.
Yeah.
So, like, what you want, kid? Oh, okay. Sorry, my niece is here and she wanted to show me her art project.
Okay.
So it was one of those things like with her, it was a bunch of like drawing and shit.
Yeah.
And like when I was little, I used to draw fucking everything.
Yeah.
She can't draw for shit. So I was like, be creative. Come on, be creative. She put some like cow colors on there to like express who she is, like the first day of school. She's like,
Okay.
I want to put cow print. I want to put horse things because I like horses and I like cows. I was like, you don't understand. You're not a cowgirl. You're not a fucking farmer. You're not a rancher. You just like cows. That's not
Hey, nothing
that.
wrong with that.
Eh. But like I told her, I was like, draw a cow. She's like, I can't draw a cow. I was like, oh my god, this kid. You can tell that's my brother's kid. It ain't my kid.
Fair enough.
Now the other kid, on the other hand, the little one,
Yeah.
that could be my kid. I don't know. I mean, there were lead up things that happens, but I wasn't there for that. But the little one, she's crazy.
Fair enough.
He's a crazy kid. But yeah, so I mean, it's like as far as like trying to get actual players or people like that,
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to be a certain type of person. You have to be like a certain type of media member.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean,
I've tried
now,
with like lower league people, and I never get a response.
well, I mean, I've figured out how, like, say the MLS works. Like, there's a big list of media contacts and stuff like that. But on the flip side, you can't laugh at the MLS. Like when it's the League's Cup and you're like, this is the dumbest competition ever. Or Apple TV and it's like the dumbest TV deal on earth.
Hmm.
Um, so like me and Tom Bogert were on Twitter and I told him MLS isn't worth paying for. 99% of it I don't care for. And I was talking about I'm not paying $1.99 for the Athletic just for MLS coverage.
Yeah.
Now I pay $1.99 for Athletic anyway. and they've actually had a decent amount of Bayern stuff on there. But it was a joke on Twitter because he made fun of me for having a blue check on Twitter. And so I told him, I was like, and like the 99% that doesn't affect me is like the MLS transfers, the fan interactions,
Right.
the supporter group drama, and all that kind of mess. Just the 1%, which is the game on the field.
Right.
Well, Charlotte FC didn't like my wording.
No.
So like they were like, "Oh, you don't think like we want you to think." I was like, "Well, I don't care." They're like, "You don't interview our players." I was like, "Well, because I'm not a Charlotte like centric outlet."
Right.
So like if you look at their media room at like a Charlotte FC game,
Hmm.
there's we'll say 25 media outlets.
Right.
Out of those 25, 24 of them are Charlotte FC podcast, blah 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 blah. Charlotte CLT FC podcast, blah blah blah. I'm not doing that crap. You know what I'm saying? That team centric model narrows way too much stuff. As you found out, like say covering the Italian league,
Yeah.
and then covering the Bundesliga. At
Yeah.
least you have two outlets, and you know what I'm saying, 30 some odd teams
Right.
that you can aim at. If you're only a Roma channel,
Yeah.
there's only a certain amount of time you can talk. There's only a certain
Yeah.
amount of news that you can fucking
That's
say.
what I started with. I just did Roma stuff for like a year or two, and I don't want to just be the Roma guy. So then I started doing other things.
Yeah.
And that's why
And
I like covering the Bundesliga, because I don't like Dortmund, but that's about it. So like I don't have really a huge preference about what happens, and I can speak on Bundesliga topics without any sort of
like a
emotion.
bias.
Yeah, and again, when Wolfsburg play, I want them to win. That's my favorite German team. But if they lose, I can still talk about their performance without, sounding like I'm bitter or something like that. That's why I enjoy the Bundesliga. It's like
and that's the same for me with like the MLS.
Yeah.
Like if the Charlotte comms department that wanted to be butthurt ass clowns,
Yeah.
because I'm not bootlicking their damn team. But the thing is like they're like, you didn't go to press conferences. You didn't ask our players questions in the media scrum. Well, media scrums for me personally, I think are the dumbest fucking things ever. Because for me or you, like say we go up to a media scrum and you've got your little microphone up like this, right? If you ask an awesome question, right, and you get this epic response,
Mm-hmm.
your channel may have 200 viewers, right?
Right.
You post it, you get 200 views. ESPN fucking grabs a hold of it, or Apple posts it.
Yeah.
They just stole the answer to your question,
Right.
and they frame it like, oh well, we were at Charlotte FC and we asked Carol Swiderski this, and then it's your answer. You know what I'm saying? So it's the thing of it's like, it's my question, my content. Why am I giving it away in a media scrum? That's just dumb. Let me ask my questions the other way. Press conferences don't do anything for me, because press conferences, you can't ask what you want to really ask.
See,
You've got to frame it fucking like a fucking present with a bow.
That's why I
like
don't
that
really
shit.
cover Minnesota United like that, because I have a lot of hot takes that the fans won't like and Minnesota United won't like, and I feel like if I was in that situation, I would ask the tough questions
and see, and that's why, like when people were like, well, Ryan, why don't you do the press conferences? I was like, because I'm a third party.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask questions that's gonna get me fucking kicked out.
Yeah.
I was like, because I'm not gonna sit there and be like, so Christian Latanzio, what do you think about the game today? I don't give a shit about his robotic bullshit. I'm gonna be like, hey, dude, what the fuck were you thinking when you put in a fucking left back and
that's me,
and you turtled up, and all of a sudden fucking Cincinnati scores 4 on you while you were playing fucking pin the tail on the fucking dumbass.
I famously don't like the Minnesota United coach, so if I was in that situation, I would ask things and imply things that would basically imply that he doesn't know what he's doing.
And probably the biggest thing that irked the shit out of me about that whole situation was they were like, well, you don't you don't have the league's best interest in mind or something along those
Yeah.
lines. And I was like, after the game, I interviewed the away team. I've interviewed Hani Mukhtar, Jordan Morris, Shaqiri,
That's cool.
you know what I'm saying, other players
Yeah.
from opposite teams,
Hmm.
which are still MLS players. They're
Right.
just not Charlotte MLS players.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, you can contact the away teams and get those interviews away from the stadium. And it's like, dude, have you ever tried to do that same shit? Do you understand how long it takes for a comms person to ever return an email? They never answer their phones. So to
Yeah.
track somebody down to do an interview like this with an MLS player, fucking act of Jesus.
Right.
I mean, no offense to Toronto because the lady's lovely as shit. She's awesome,
Yeah.
and she helped me with a lot of stuff with Insigne and Bernadeschi. But the thing is like, do you really think all I asked her to do was like the two Bundesliga or not the two halftime of Bayern Ryan questions, like how does
Yeah.
it make you feel that people look up to you, and how does it
Yeah.
what would you say to those people? Just
Yeah.
basic run of the mill questions. She
Right.
was going to do like interview them that same way in
Yeah.
their office, and then just send me the answers, and then I would create the video from there. That was this time last year. Still waiting for it. So I mean, the thing is I love the MLS as far as like the other teams and the players that are there and that type of shit. What are the odds of me and you ever interviewing Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, or Messi? Fucking never.
Zero. Zero.
Fucking zero. What's
Yeah.
the odds of us, like, say, going to a Miami game and getting close enough to him where we don't get fucking shot by a security guard?
Zero.
But so I mean, like Chicago, Jamie in Chicago, the comms guy in Chicago, he is fucking amazing. Helped me, you know what I'm saying, meet
Yeah.
Bastian Schweinsteiger, hooked up the thing with Shaqiri. Um, the guy for Seattle got us Jordan Morris. We
Hmm.
got Victor Wanyama from Montreal. So I mean, we got amazing content. It's just Charlotte got all fucking butthurt over it.
Really.
So I love LAFC to death because they're with Bayern Munich. They're in the Bayern family, right? With the red and gold football.
Yeah.
To get them goddamn to respond to an email, act of God, act of Jesus. I'm still waiting for the thing. I sent a thing was like, hey, all I need is one of these players. It's fucking Julian Gaines, Timothy Tillman, Denny Bawanga, or Carlos Vela, right? You would
Yeah.
think Julian Gaines would be the easiest one.
Right.
Fuck, I don't know. I haven't gotten an email back. So it's like what people on here don't realize is like this is for everybody that's doesn't understand how media and social media in
Yeah.
the footballing world works. It's a
Right.
fucking nightmare. Um, to get an active player, it's an act of God. Um, and then I mean, now granted, if you know an agent or you know a publicist or something like that, that helps.
Okay.
Um, or you like today, you get Anton on, and his internet goes straight to shit.
Yeah.
Because Anton was supposed to be on last week, but communication mishaps, and he wasn't able to come on. So I mean, it's
Right.
just planning for this show is crazy as shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I hear
It's fucking nuts. But like, I'd love to have Bernadeschi or Insigne on.
you. Oh yeah.
The biggest issue is I don't speak Italian, so I could have them on for an hour, not know a fucking word they say.
Doesn't Bernadeschi speak English though? I thought he does.
He does, but they claim he don't.
Okay. I know Insigne doesn't, but
It's easier to say they don't speak English or they're not
got,
comfortable with
yeah, which
English.
means they're not gonna speak English.
Bingo. So it's kind of like Messi.
Yeah,
Well,
Messi doesn't
he
speak any English.
yeah, he actually does.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, he's been taking English lessons for 6 years. I think he speaks fucking English.
All right. Well, I always thought he could because he'll like
He
be
never
asked a
he
question in
never
English.
does.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He
But
never does because he's not comfortable speaking English. But you can go back. There was an interview. It may have been 2, 3 years ago.
yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I've been taking English lessons for like a year," and this was 2 or 3 years ago. So I mean, he's taken at least 2 or 3 years of English.
Yeah.
So it's the same as like when people are like, "Well, this Bayern player doesn't speak English." Yeah, bullshit. He don't. I know he speaks English. And they're like, "How do you know he speaks English?" It's like, because I watched him at Sabnerstrasse fucking speaking English. So it's like, if I
Yeah.
watched him speak to Thomas Muller in English,
Yeah.
he speaks fucking English.
Thomas Muller definitely speaks English.
Yes. And his English is crazy.
He's funny. Yeah. It's a great
Because
follow on Instagram.
he says the goofiest shit in English. That's the best part
Yeah.
about it. But I mean, it's like Kim Min Jae speaks pretty decent English.
Yeah.
I mean, it's broken English, but it's decent English.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's really anybody
Delit speaks
at
English too. I've heard him do
yeah,
an interview in English.
but I don't think there's many people on FC Bayern that don't truly speak English. I know there's a decent amount that aren't comfortable with English.
Yeah.
Like they can speak it really well. It's just they're not comfortable speaking it.
Right.
But the thing is what a lot of people don't realize is if if players don't understand, like say German,
Yeah.
it's either French or English that's the common spoken language on the pitch.
So you're saying that the coaches give instruction in English? Okay.
Uh, I mean, the thing is because they'll do it in German. They may do it in English. And then they may do another one in French. You know what I'm saying? So everybody can kind of pick up on it.
Right.
Watching Nagelsmann and them train
Yeah.
last year.
Hmm.
That's where I kind of started picking up. Like certain players may not speak German fluently,
Yeah.
so they may throw French. They may throw English. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on which player it is and what's the situation and stuff like that.
Didn't like Sancho speak English, but like with a German accent or something?
Who?
Jadon Sancho when he was at Dortmund. Because I thought he
Um,
speaks English, but he did it in like an accent so people could understand him better. I don't know. There's some
I don't know.
video. There's
I
some
don't watch
video
that
where he.
fucking clown.
But yeah, agreed. But there was some interview where he was
Oh,
being
you're
interviewed.
talking about you're talking about the one where he hadn't like
He
he
changed his
spoke
voice
yeah, he spoke English, but he did it in like
with a German accent.
yeah, like that
Yeah,
Hollywood German.
yeah,
Yeah. Like 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 the fucking Hollywood movies where it's like, "Oh, he's German."
yeah,
Y- Yas. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, "Man, shut the fuck up." Either speak German or speak English.
yeah.
Because that's the
I thought
craziest
it was
thing.
strange.
If you look at like Hollywood movies, the German either speaks that German English or they speak the most proper fucking British ever.
Yeah,
And it's the weirdest shit. But yeah, I've seen that interview with Sancho because
yeah,
somebody shared it. One of the footballing channels shared it and was like, if you're English but you're pretending to be German,
yeah, yeah,
and it's like Jesus Christ.
yeah,
He needed to pretend he was something else when he went to damn England because he's
yeah,
fucking terrible right now.
yeah. He is.
But yeah, I guess we're running low on time because I gotta
Okay,
feed that dog and
gotcha.
figure out what my niece fucked up on her little drawing thing. But yeah, we'll definitely have you on again.
I'd love to come back.
Um, we'll figure out like a player that kind of or person that kind of sparks your interest
Yeah,
as
for
far
sure.
as like guest wise, and we'll bring you on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got guests booking up for next week. and I'll see kind of what we've got because next week I know we've got the author of the Alfonso Davies book,
Yeah, I saw that.
and then we've got Ravana comes back on again. The Ravana interviews are always awesome, even though for the viewing audience they do turn the politics of sports side.
Gotcha.
So like we discuss like the Women's World Cup, but like the politics behind some of the dumbass shit that some of these people on the news fucking talk about.
Yeah.
So we discuss that type of shit.
Gotcha.
So, because I mean, she's a political like correspondent type person for the Young Turks on YouTube.
Okay.
So she does, yeah, she does that type of stuff. So it's on that TYT type thing. We talk football. Sad thing is she's a Man United fan, so I mean, there's nothing we can talk about for her fucking team. They're fucking trash. But yeah. So yeah, if we can, if Devin can't get on again, or you want to jump on with Devin, shit, we can get on here and bullshit for fucking hours. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We'll have to reschedule like the time frame so I can feed the dog like before we start.
Gotcha.
But yeah, with you knowing the Bundesliga and Italy, Devin knows sort of the Bundesliga and the EPL.
Yeah.
Shit, we may.
But I kind of Germany and Italy is where my strengths are.
Well, I mean, we may be able to organize something maybe next week because the EPL kicks off this week, Bundesliga, and I think Italy kicks off next week.
The Italy kicks off the same week of the Bundesliga, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so we possibly could talk. You know what I'm saying, the EPL wrap up from their first weekend, and then Bundesliga and Italian League kick off the following weekend.
I think the EPL starts today. I don't know who won, but
okay. And then we can have we can talk fucking Leagues Cup and that fucking stupid nonsense. So yeah, I mean we can.
I'm down to talk football whenever.
Yeah, we can just. I may see because let's see, I've got it's Monday and Thursday. Shit, we may be able to do it like Wednesday of next week. And we can start it at like 5. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, on Monday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I'm pretty much available all day. The rest of the week is after 2 o'clock. On Saturday, it's after 4 o'clock. But I'm very adjustable as long as it doesn't like intersect with my work schedule.
Yeah, it would be like 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll set that up with Devin. We can fucking get a couple other motherfuckers in here because I think I can get up to 6 dudes in here. Fucking,
nice.
We'll go fucking ape shit. Fuck it, why not? We would just call it the talk shit get hit fucking hour. I don't give a damn. So yeah, I'll grab some people. We'll throw that bitch together at 5 o'clock.
Awesome.
I'll figure out what day it is and fuck it. Because I think most of the people that I tried to get like to do different episodes this week, they were all like, yeah, if we could do it later. Fuck yeah, man, we're gonna do some shit later, and we just gonna call it. That may just be one that Europe has to fucking sleep through and see the next damn day. For all I give a shit.
For sure.
So, all right, well, let me go let this dog out, and we will. I'll hit you up on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll figure it out. We'll throw fucking 5 other motherfuckers in here. Screw it.
Awesome.
We'll piss everybody off. Why the fuck not?
Yeah. Well, let's go.
You can't cancel me because
I'm not going to cancel you. I just
not you. I'm just saying if there was like 6 other people, cancel them, not me.
Okay.
So.
All right.
But all right. Well, I'm gonna go feed the dog, guys. Thanks for showing up. Elliot will be back probably next week.
Awesome.
We'll get Anton back on at some point. Hopefully, he'll have good internet, and probably we'll make sure he definitely has a shirt on. But guys, thanks for checking it out. We'll see you next week.